President Rodrigo the Punisher Duterte has a controversial, deadly take on stamping out drug crimes in the Philippines. Kian delos Santos, right, was gunned down by police in Manila. Picture Facebook. He dreamt of becoming a policeman, but instead was gunned down by the man whose shoes he may have one day filled. Kian Loyd delos Santos, 17, is just one of thousands of victims of Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte's drug war, but he has become the face of an unprecedented resistance. Church leaders in the devoutly Catholic nation have spoken out against the schoolboys slaying in a Manila street on August 16, which police claimed was part of a legitimate anti-drugs operation. But witness accounts and CCTV footage contradicting the official account have emerged, painting a picture of an extrajudicial killing of an innocent young man whose final words have come to haunt even those who support Duterte's zero-tolerance drugs crackdown. "Please can I go home? I have school tomorrow." Witnesses said the teen was handed a gun and ordered to run by plainclothes police, with his dead body found curled into a fetal position in a dark corner. Wearing a blue shirt and boxer shorts, he was found with a gun in his left hand. Kian Loyd delos Santos' death has galvanized resistance to Duterte's crackdown. Picture Facebook. Source: Facebook. Police initially claimed that delos Santos was a drug dealer and that he had opened fire during a raid, prompting law enforcement officers to gun him down in self-defense. But his family says he was mercilessly shot by police while pleading for his life, and the public outcry that followed has prompted an official investigation, with 3 police officers and their commander stood down. The students' grieving parents and neighbors pointed to security camera footage that showed a man, who they said was delos Santos, being held by both arms and dragged away from his home shortly before he was shot nearby. They described him as a hard-working and studious young man who had no involvement in drugs, and rose at 5:30 a.m. each morning to work in the family's convenience store before attending school. Protesters display placards outside the wake for slain Kian Loyd delos Santos. Picture bullet mark. A source: Kian delos Santos' father Saldi speaks to journalists next to the coffin of his son. Picture Ted Aljiba. Source: Archbishop Socrates Villegas, who heads an influential bloc of Filipino Catholic bishops, announced that church bells would be rung for 15 minutes every night for 3 months across his northern district from August 22, to rouse a citizenry which has become a coward in expressing anger against evil. The growing outcry over Duterte's bloody crackdown comes after a sharp spike in police executions of drug suspects, with 81 people killed in the bloodiest 5 days since the president took office in June last year. The sounding of the bells is a call to stop approval of the killings, Archbishop Villegas said in a statement read on Sunday in churches in his district in Pangasinan province. The country is in chaos. The officer who kills is rewarded and the slain get the blame. The corpses could no longer defend themselves from accusations that they fought back. Why are we no longer horrified by the sound of the gun and blood flowing on the sidewalks? Why is nobody raging against drugs that were brought in from China? He asked, referring to a huge drugs shipment that managed to pass through Manila's ports under the watch of customs officials appointed by Duterte. Without naming the president, Archbishop Villegas criticized Duterte's praises for police killings of 32 drug suspects in just a night of raids across Bulacan province last week, and how his supporters applauded in response. Protesters march ahead of the wake for slain Kian Loyd delos Santos. Picture bullet mark. A source: protesters wear masks depicting victims of extrajudicial killings. Picture Ted Aljiba. Source: Vice President Leni Robredo condemned the killing and visited the wake of the slain student on Sunday, accompanied by a volunteer lawyer, who she said may be able to help the victim's family to get justice for the boy. Senators allied with Duterte have now broken ranks and signed a resolution condemning the recent spate of abuses by police resulting in excessive and unnecessary deaths in the conduct of the campaign against drugs. Ms. Robredo said that while the country had a drug problem, the solution should not trample on human rights and victimize the innocent. "This is something personal to me because he was the same age as my youngest daughter. That's why when these things happen, you will think that if it happened to him, it could also happen to our children," she said. "This is saddening. Now Kian gives it a human face. How many Kians have we had? How many more Kians will follow? That's why when this happens, I think it is our obligation to express our condemnation." President Duterte has vowed to continue the bloody crackdown. Picture Aaron Favilla. Source: APTWO. Senators spoke in radio interviews, warning policemen not to abuse Duterte's strong backing of law enforcers involved in his campaign against illegal drugs. "Legitimate police operations are okay, but summary executions have no place in our society because they're barbaric acts," Sen. Joseph Victor Ejercito told DZBB Radio. They should not go overboard. More than 5,200 people have been gunned down by police since Duterte launched his crackdown in police raids and attacks by motorcycle-riding masked gunmen, who human rights groups allege are policemen in disguise, or their civilian hitmen. Alarmed human rights groups have reported higher death tolls, while former Congressman Walden Bello has warned that the number of people killed could reach 60,000 if the crackdown continues. Duterte has acknowledged he erred in his initial estimate and campaign promise to end the drug menace within 6 months of coming to power, and admitted he would be unlikely to get the country's drug problem under control by 2022, when his 6-year term is due to end. The crackdown, however, will not stop under his watch, he said. Dana.Macaulay at news.com.au